Uh-oh. Ah, ah, ah. Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home Impodcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present the Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam. You're my co-host, Jordan. Hi, Jordan.
Adam, how are you today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Just chilling. I'm good, although I'm a little bit freaked out, which I guess is appropriate for a Halloween episode of Home Improvement. You sent me a really weird picture, and I don't really know what it's about. So, can you explain it to me before I have some nightmares tonight?
Nightmares and dreamscapes. Yes, I will, Jordan. This is a spooky app, so, I was kind of struggling with coming up with some spooky opening banter. I even went so far as to do a poll, but I'm going to just go ahead and ignore the results of that poll and talk about this instead. Sorry, everybody.
I'd like to know what that poll is, though.
You'll hear about it You'll hear about it at the end of the show.
All right.
Which will be
something for our listeners to stay tuned for, even if you don't like our banter.
Yeah. So basically, I was out walking this morning, Jordan. That's what I do. I walk. I walk in the morning, I walk in the afternoon, and I walk in the evening. And that's just kind of what my life is these days.
Some people call you a walker.
For better or worse. Never done so much walking in my life, but that's okay. I take solace in these small things that I can enjoy. Walking is one of them. So I'm out this morning on my morning stroll. It's pleasant. It's hot. It's getting hot up here in Milwaukee. Probably, it might have been 70, 73, 74 degrees, Jordan.
That's not too shabby.
It's not too shabby. Feels hot to me, though. And I'm just kind of walking, listening to my podcast. My brain is just kind of going all over the place, thinking
We should probably know what podcast you're listening to.
Well, hey, man, Twilight Pwn released their first episode in about 13 months. So...
About what?
Night Gallery.
Okay.
They kept going after Twilight Zone, doing sort of a la carte stuff, but they are so their episodes are so sparingly done that it was April 2019. So I queued that up, listened to it, enjoyed it. Great to have Fred and John back, but it's not the point, Jordan. So I'm walking down a side street. Near a bar I frequent, or have frequented in the past, and I see a few items by the road, trash, as it were.
Litter.
No, more like things that someone is moving out of their house, but is too lazy to take to Goodwill like they should. Desks, couches, tables, things like that. Things that I would normally be kind of excited to see, but in the age of coronavirus, I find a little bit gross. I'm walking by and I see a table, and on this table, there is a triangle. And this triangle is the picture I sent you. It's a board game, and it has a huge eye in the center of it.
It's a board game. I would have never guessed that was a board game.
Yeah, and it's called Ubi, and I've since looked it up. And it has a huge, blue eye. It's called Ubi, and what does it say underneath it? It says The World According to Ubi. So I'm thinking, is this like a Ouija board, or am I coming into some cult kind of stuff?
Do you want to know what I thought it was before you keep going?
Yeah, please.
I thought it was some weird, I didn't realize it was a board game, first of all, but the only thing when I say UBI, I think of Universal Basic Income, so I was like, is this some, propaganda against universal basic income that you were sending me? So definitely not that.
The fact that you would think that when you saw UBI is a telling confession, because I don't even know what that means.
Well, I don't. I think it's kind of a popular thing nowadays. But
what's
sure.
it called? Universal
Basic Income.
Okay, nerd. Yeah, I love it when you say something's universal that I've never heard of. It's always a good.
I didn't say it was universal, but I think it's more popular nowadays than it has been in years and years and years. So
sounds like a pull. In any case, it wasn't your.
It was not UBI.
It wasn't your TED Talk lingo that you're bringing out. It's a board game, but I thought, I was thinking like, okay, Ouija board, like cult paraphernalia.
Yeah.
This seems like the start of like an Edgar Allan Poe or an early Stephen King story. Do I take this, bring it home, Kirsten and I open it, and next thing you know, like our apartment's haunted? Like, what's the future hold for me in this thing?
I think you definitely have another story on your hands.
Very well, maybe. I so badly wanted to open it, wanted to bring it home, wanted to look through it, experiment, so on and so forth. But I just don't want to touch other people's trash right now, so I left it.
So, did you ever find out what it was?
Yeah,
Based on
let
internet
me give
search.
you the this is per BoardGameGeek.com, which is probably one of your favorite websites.
It doesn't sound like a bad website.
From the creators of Trivial Pursuit, Ubi is a trivia game where you must strive to build your Ruby Ubi pyramid. Each
boy.
time you successfully answer a question, you get a piece of your pyramid, provided you answer with the required precision, and precision is in quotes. The answers are given based on the map provided, so your answer is basically a geographical area which you feel applies to the question or statement. I read that paragraph and I'm more confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so cryptic that it's even more suspicious.
It's not
like,
what I would have expected, though, from looking at the picture and knowing that it's a board game. So, I don't know. Very weird.
Let me look at the pictures. Yeah, man, that is weird. It's so sort of bizarre. Just waiting for this to look. Okay.
You know how you're supposed to, with any like good product, you're supposed to be able to explain it in like a sentence.
Elevator pitch. Yeah.
This
would take an elevator to like the top of like the Empire State Building and down to explain, and I would probably still be scratching my head. Okay, so it's like a weird. I got half of mine to go back and grab it if it's still there, and I have a feeling it's still going to be there. But
Wipe it down.
wow, okay, that's crazy. All right, well, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to share that because we're dealing with witches and witchcraft and no wizardry, but wizard adjacent, I guess you would say. It's
Wizard adjacent content. That's what people come to Home Improvement or Home Impodcast for.
and Home Improvement. Honestly,
Both, yeah.
So it deemed important. Is there anything you wanted to say, sort of off the bat here, that has happened to you that's either spooky or scary or I don't know, Jordan, from like the fourth or fifth dimension?
Nothing from the fourth or fifth dimension. The other night, there was a big thunderstorm, and right after it was like over.
Oh wait, sorry, Jordan. I'm sorry to interrupt you as you're starting your story, but someone's at the door.
Oh, who could it be?
Come on in, you old sandbagger. Sorry, he's a bat right now. He's flying over.
Well, it's too bright over there.
It is. I'll pull the blinds. Hello, Jordan. It is me, Drac. Drac is back.
I didn't know if you would make it because you wrote a very cryptic letter from Transylvania.
Yes, I wrote it in my own blood.
Well, that's what you usually do.
How are you doing? How is your family?
You know you don't want to know that. I know that you're just looking for new victims, so I'm not going to tell you if they're good or bad.
How is that wife of yours? Yabo, yabo.
Yeah.
Drac, like season 8 of Home Improvement, is very, very horny.
That I believe. Well, man, I'm so glad you're here, Dracula. Are you going to be joining us the whole show?
Most certainly not. I am I'm heading down to where is it? I guess it is Cobo Hall in Detroit, and yes, I'm going to just hang out there. I like old kind of decrepit places. So,
Yeah, there's most certainly not an exhibition there, so not a lot of victims or anything. So,
do you feel as though I sound different than I used to?
you've got a little bit more of a German accent, I feel like now.
Yes, that is calculated. I've been hunting in Germany for quite some time. Well, better go. Hey, congratulations on the podcast, Ron. Talk to you later.
Bye, Drac.
Drac is back!
This does remind me. I was recently looking through all of my voicemails, and there's like 6 voicemails from you. Mm-hmm. From all the way dating back to like 2014.
Yeah.
3 are from Rickford T. Belmont.
Yeah.
2 other characters that I don't really remember, but I was having some laughs the other day looking at that. So
Yeah. Do me a favor, go ahead and delete those voicemails.
I actually was gonna string them together. You know, you talked about how the Twilight Pwn has some stuff that they've done ad hoc after the podcast. I was thinking maybe we could put these out.
Does the subject matter reflect well on me?
I think it ages better than stuff you did in high school.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, I would hope so. I used to call you when you would give me the time of day, but the last couple times I called, you're always so busy and distracted that I just can't take it anymore.
Yeah. You used to do a lot more driving. Is that why you would call me?
Yeah, that also, yeah.
Yeah, now you don't drive, so there's no one to no
I don't
reason to
go
call.
anywhere. Yeah, no going anywhere.
Just on your walks, and that's more, contemplating.
That's peaceful. I don't call people on my walks. Yeah. Well, it sure was great to talk to Drac. It's weird that he did sound like Fez from that 70s show at the end, but, people change, podcasts change. What more can you say?
The only constant in life is change.
Well said. And with that, should we get into this week's episode?
Episode 182 is Bewitched. Written by Jennifer Salata and Adam England. The duo teamed up for The Right Stuff. That was last season.
That's a heavy hitter.
It was a heavy hitter. This one aired October 27th, 1998. Alternative titles, I've got 3.
Gentleman's 5.
Gentleman's 5. Go first.
Okay, how about Gio Tim?
I've got one similar. Tim's Torture Chamber.
Wow. Give me... I mean, none of these are good, I should also say. Where there's a Wilson, there's a prank?
I might have done this one before, but I also struggled. So, one good prank deserves another.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Okay.
How about... Woo-hoo, Wilson's witchy woman.
So far, we're 3 for 3 on themes.
Yep.
My last one is The Witching Half Hour.
That's good, I like that. This one's for all you Macbeth fans out there. The play starts with the witches, and
I read that last year for Halloween.
Perfect, so you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little double, Tim's in trouble.
I almost did that.
You should have. It would have been...
I knew you were going to do it.
Yes, you dangle an easy Shakespeare opportunity in front of me, and I'll take it. Did you know I have a master's degree?
Do you?
Yeah.
You're such an academic.
It's very useful.
It seems like it. You have a last one, right?
Oh yeah, this sucks, but it's kind of funny. That meddlesome Mozart.
Oh, Mozart.
He's meddlesome.
Have we seen Mozart before?
I guess, probably.
I don't remember him, but it's one of those things where I don't remember him, but he seems like he's been there all along.
When Mo Benford was making that Pollyanna lawyer joke, do you think she was talking about Mozart?
She wouldn't dare insult Mozart.
They're both in the same number of episodes. I'm going to let you open, Jordan. I have had some difficulty with my allergies, as I told you before the show, so I'm going to try to save my throat for only the really important comments.
So basically you're not going to talk until the polls come up?
We'll see.
All right, well, first thing I noted, first scene, we start at home, and Mark is alive. We haven't seen him for the last 2 episodes, and he's here. So Mark and Brad come downstairs. It's Halloween, and Tim is trying to pull one of his pranks, but the boys, they think they're too old for this. And he eventually gets them to open the fridge. It is full of not orange juice, not pancakes, not meatloaf, but severed heads. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess if they were trying to make this seem like it shouldn't be scary, they did a good job because everyone saw it coming a mile away. Jill comes in. She is a busy bee today. Tim suggests some tea or something before she gets off, running all of her errands or whatever. And out pops a bloody something. I don't know what this is.
That was confusing. I was like, is this like a spleen or what are we doing here?
I thought it was like, did you ever play a House of Dead at like an arcade?
No, but maybe you should be coming up and getting that Ubi game. It sounds like it might be up your alley.
It's a good arcade game, but there's like these little creatures that it reminded me of, but kind of like super mini Tremors. I know you know Tremors.
Definitely no Tremors. Yeah, very familiar with Tremors. A little too familiar.
If you know what I mean. All right, well, we don't know what this is, but it's not scary either. And Jill doesn't fall for the gag. It reminds her of something. I don't remember what it was, but Jill is supportive.
It reminds her that it's Halloween.
Yeah, I guess so. Jill is supportive of Tim's quest for a prank here, because she wants him to feel like, he's doing a good job. She's faking it, I guess you could say. And as she leaves, she pretends to be scared by a falling skeleton in the garage. So Tim's trying his best, but he's just kind of failing. And, and after 8 seasons, presumably he's been doing this for longer than that. I think everyone kind of sees it coming at this point.
Yeah, my thoughts. Well, that much of this episode, I thought, with regards to the pranks and the things they were trying to do, costly endeavor. These heads in the refrigerator, expensive. Tool Time set is like very, very, like, that would have been all of Tool Time's budget for the year, I think, would be constructing that sort of like dungeon chamber.
Unless they built everything themselves, maybe.
Well, do they have the manpower? I don't know.
Al seems to have time on his hands.
Not anymore now that he's dating. You know how it is. You know how it is, Jordan.
You know what? Trudy could probably pay for all that.
That's true. Yeah, maybe Trudy did commission that. Trudy, give me that booty. There is mention in this first scene of Wilson's Halloween party later.
Oh.
I don't know if you mentioned that, but
we're
sort of setting the table there. There's also, Tim he's lamenting his inability to prank. And there's a joke about his sexual performance. I can't perform anymore. I've heard that this happens to men of my age. And Jill says, "You were great last night." And
this is the line that Dracula loved.
The horniness continues. And I kind of like this opening scene. It is Jill just kind of like trying to sort of, it's just like a pat on the head to her husband, like, good try, we're all pulling for you in this, but it's not really working. I thought it was funny, and it did set the table well. So
It did set the table well. You want to talk about the torture chamber?
Yeah, so dressed in, I don't know, 18th century garb?
I wrote 18th century as well.
Okay, all right.
Must be what it is.
Again, if two guys that know nothing about that era say so, it's got to be. It's like, I don't know. I don't really get what the Tool Time angle is for this.
Yeah, why are they doing this?
Yeah, so they're just.
I guess just because it's Halloween and these are technically tools.
I guess, yeah. So they're looking at devices. The torture chamber gets a bad name. Again, very, very realistic set. There's a gag about a shirt stretching. I couldn't really see what was that piece of machinery. I didn't really get that.
It was the rack. So you would put people on that and stretch their arms and stuff, and they stretch the sleeves. So
Tim's arm is visibly fake throughout the scene. Al is very much aware of that. Tim's not doing a good job hiding it. I guess we later find out it's a red herring, I guess, or it's like
he's doing it on purpose. Yeah, and Al is like, "You're not gonna get me with this, whatever gag you're doing."
Yeah. So Al, a little bit later, a lot of laters in this episode, a shocking number of laters. A little bit later in Tool Time, they're moving over to the guillotine, or the guillotine as I call it, and Al, he's had enough of this fake arm. He's just going to play along. And Tim goes over to the guillotine, chops off his hand. It's pretty lame, and very lame in the moment. And Al's kind of, again, sort of giving him that pat on the head. The audience claps mockingly in response. But then as Al's kind of letting his guard down, a hand comes out of like a basket and grabs him, and he's terrified.
He still got it.
Still got it. Halloween Kid.
Tim still got it, yeah. He should have quit while he was ahead, I think.
Well, yeah. He does have the last laugh in this episode, which is kind of
confusing, actually.
Kind of stupid, yeah.
Kind of undercuts the whole episode, but sure.
Right, yeah.
Later we go to Wilson's. Tim is chopping some wood for Wilson, I guess. I don't know why. Wilson has a new girlfriend that we learn about, so I guess the chapter on Judith is closed. We could assume that because we haven't seen her forever, but there was really no closure there. I didn't have closure. Adam, did you have closure?
That's just real life, though, I guess. That's all I got to say about that. Sometimes you don't get closure.
Okay. Well, Wilson wants Tim's opinion on this new lady. I don't know if we get her name in the scene or not, but it's Agatha. And as they're talking about this, Tim gets Wilson with a gag shoe where he pretends that while chopping wood, the axe went through his boot, and he's bleeding profusely. Wilson's concerned.
Yeah.
He probably gave Wilson like a semi-heart attack here. He should feel bad.
It looks pretty good.
It does.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I blame Wilson. Should he be on guard? Yeah, but it looks so realistic, you know?
Do you think Tim just went over there and was like, hey, can I chop some wood?
I wondered what the wood was for. Yeah. He said, I'm splitting wood for your party. Is it a bonfire?
We don't see that.
I didn't see that. Are they giving away wood as party favors?
I think they were going to burn.
Fun.
They were going to burn Agatha at the stake.
Whoa! Do you know anyone that pranks like this? Do you know any pranksters in real life?
Not really. No.
Me neither. Presumably they're out there. You always hear about them.
You always hear Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about how George Clooney is a big time prankster, but
that's true.
I don't meet these people in real life. I think if you knew them, that would be pretty annoying. You know, like that would be pretty tedious.
Especially if it was every Halloween, and be like, can we just not do that?
Yeah. Well,
I feel like there was and for pranks, I feel like it was more April Fools than it was for Halloween.
I know, but that's what makes Tim different. He's a different kind of prankster.
He's a different kind of dude.
New breed.
A new breed. Okay, well.
There's a new breed of prankster. Yeah.
Is it party time?
It's party time. All right. So I love this alien costume in the beginning.
Aliens and trolls. I think that was a troll.
Yeah, but you gotta love that alien. You know, that's just vintage. That's vintage late 90s alien content.
It seems like a lot of these costumes that we get here are vintage everything.
Hey, hear about these aliens?
Hear about these little green men.
Jill is a witch, and Tim is a flying monkey from The Wizard of Oz. And I don't think I've ever seen the audience love something more than they loved his entrance here. I mean, the costume is really solid, and The Wizard of Oz has like that universal recognizability, not really a word, but like everybody knows The Wizard of Oz, so I guess it's just sort of a collective like, man, we are loving it.
Yeah, it is strange. I think they clap more here than they're going to in the series finale. So
they haven't clapped this much since Karen exited the show in season 1 or 2. Ouch.
Sorry, Betsy Randall. You're never gonna get interviewed by Adam.
Boom, roasted. Bye Betsy. She's got that Kid Meets World money or whatever that show's called. Girl Meets World? Yeah. Right. Wilson is a musketeer, question mark?
I think he's Captain Hook here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Tim makes a Munchkins joke to Jill. He wants to make Munchkins later because he's horny again. Like, just this is such a horny season.
I don't think I got that joke. I didn't write it down.
Yeah, he says he wants to make Munchkins later.
Oh man.
Which,
whole season is pretty
peel
wild.
Back the onion on that Munchkins joke, it's like, what?
Wait a minute.
Like kids or like, what do you mean? Okay. Attorney helping redo Wilson's will, which you know is going to come back at some point. Of course it does.
I thought it was very weird. See the attorney there.
You know who the attorney was under that mask?
Who?
Milton, the I don't go for that kind of thing guy.
I'm not shocked by that.
It's kind of fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish that we could, if ever we could talk to Carmen Finestra again, which I'm not even saying I really want to do, I would wonder about that. I would ask him about that.
This guy in general?
Yeah, like what's his deal? Who's he friends with?
He's basically integral to everything that happens, so.
He's the unsung hero of Home Improvement. He's the real MVP. Mm-hmm. Alec comes in. He is a butterfly. I don't know.
Monarch butterfly is what I wrote. The
yeah.
crowd loves that too.
I wasn't as impressed by that one. I mean,
it did seem pretty lame.
Yeah, these costumes are both expensive looking and just kind of elaborate. But that's sort of what Home Improvement does, you know. So.
Also, not a Halloween party I've ever been to with this quite of elaborate costumes, I feel like.
Yeah, we used to have them back in the day, but we never invited you, so. You were too busy studying UBI. All right. Go ahead.
Tim and this is later. Yeah, this is the string of laters. There's like 6 that I have
Let me.
written down here.
I'm sorry to this. Let me give Agatha's bio before we go any further.
Yeah, we're about to talk about her. So.
Man, how do I say this name?
You asked for it.
Natalija Nagulik.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it's got to be the right pronunciation, definitely.
Any big Agatha fan, let us know if we got it wrong.
Nothing like some stupid guy from the Midwest butchering a name that's not real American. Credits to her name, Jordan. 151. That's a lot.
Wow.
Best
that is a
known
lot.
for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. She's Miss Shirley. I've seen that movie enough. I should be able to think of it. Hoffa, Two Broke Girls, Star Trek The Next Generation. Last couple of years, Chicago Med, Shameless. Everybody's on Shameless, I guess. And Glee. So she's still around. I liked her. It was fun.
It was fun. You had a fun time.
Fun performance. She's good. She's doing what she needs to do.
Yep. So this is when Tim and Jill meet her for the first time,
Yeah.
and she's a real witch. She says she's a real witch. She talks about like how she found out 12 years ago. She's now a high priestess at the local coven. Tim is making jokes because he thinks she's just like kind of sticking to character a little bit too much here.
Yeah.
But later,
May I cut in?
only if you're dancing with me and not
May
Agatha.
I'm tapping your right shoulder, or is it left shoulder? And I'm asking your dance partner if I may cut in.
All right, go ahead.
Wilson describes Agatha as his special friend, which is
Yeah.
a gross way to say it. Come on. What are we doing? Tim is not your, like, child of divorce that you're trying to shield from, like, what's actually happening. Like, that's just, it gives me the creeps. It's like when Jill calls the Colonel Daddy.
Those are different things. I will fight that to this day. But yeah, it is weird.
To disagree.
Hey, someone said Colonel, happy Halloween.
Back from the dead.
Yeah, he should be in this episode. Oh, man. She's a Dianic witch as well, which probably means something, but I didn't look it up. You may resume.
Thank you for that.
Please pause between later so I can comment on every single happening.
All right, well, and get ready to cut in because this is going to be short. Tim and Agatha are alone this time, and Tim struggle. I mean, there's a good like 10 seconds of Tim struggling to get through a door here with his monkey wings. Pretty good, actually. Maybe one of my favorite parts of the episode. Agatha doesn't appreciate Tim's jokes because he's continuing them here, making more and more jokes. At this point, is Tim making fun of her because he thinks she is still in character, or he's just like mocking her? I don't know.
Tapping your shoulder, may I cut in?
It is time for you to come in.
I didn't like Tim going through the door. It took too long. Hurry it up. I don't have all day.
I mean, you do have 22 minutes.
I don't have all day here. Yeah, I was just like thinking during this, like, God forbid Tim ever like respect anybody. You know, like he has to. Anytime he's slightly uncomfortable, he just has to like, resort to mockery.
Yeah, it's kind of his MO, and it always has been, and he never learns his lesson.
You may resume.
Later, Wilson and Tim are chatting about Agatha. I don't know if I think Tim says, is she crazy or something like that. And Wilson says, you know what?
Yeah.
I've been trying to break up with her.
Yeah.
I tried 3 times, but she won't take no for an answer. What do I do? Have you ever been afraid of someone that you're dating?
Sounds like you, with this podcast, tried to break up with me 3 times.
You always trick me back into it. And you know what? Now we're down to about 22 episodes or so.
Yeah,
So I guess we just got to keep it up.
Yeah. At what point did you... we'll just spoil the ending, because anybody listening to this knows. At what point did you know Did you know what was happening? Were you hip to it? Right away?
No, I was not hip to it right away. I would say probably this scene, actually.
Yeah. I
I think
yeah.
I kind of remembered what was going on once this scene happened.
I definitely did not remember this episode, but I think, yeah, when Wilson is saying he's afraid to break up with her, I'm like, okay, yeah, that is sort of suspicious, because Wilson does not have any problem leaving a woman at the curb. Just ask Judith. Wilson will nestle his way into your life and then just ghost you forever. That's his
You will
kind of
never
MO.
hear from her again.
All right. You know what? You might as well just finish this off. You're doing good.
Later, Jill got her palm read. The
Yeah.
palm reader said she has a nice butt.
That's pretty funny. Liked it.
It's funny because it's like the last 3 laters have been spooky, and this is just kind of a break in that. So
Yeah, I liked it.
Came unexpected as well. Tim shares the advice that he gave to Wilson, and we see across the room the breakup is actually happening at the party. Probably not a great move, whether or not this was a real thing, but I guess it has to happen.
I didn't catch that. I didn't see that.
Oh, well, it's happening. And Jill, the hypocrite that she is, says,
Yeah.
Don't meddle.
Glad you're picking up on that. Yeah.
do you want to cut in?
No, I just mean, like, she says, like, don't invade other people's lives, and it's like, okay, sure.
Sure, everything you do in every other episode.
Have you ever watched the show?
Do you know who you are?
Yeah.
All right, last later for me. At the Taylor home, Wilson is late for dinner, and there was no answer on the telephone. And so Tim decides to go over and see what's keeping him.
Okay, yeah. Big question here. Is this the same night?
It's got to be the next day.
Yeah.
Dinner next day. So he's been gone all day.
Okay. That was not clear to me, so I'm thinking, like, what, are they having dinner at, like, 2 in the
3 in the morning.
I mean, they didn't... It certainly felt like the same night, but you're right. It has to be the next day.
Well, if there's one thing we know about Home Improvement, time is elusive.
The writers don't wear watches.
They don't even understand time in general.
All right, Wilson's house. I'll cut in here. May I cut in?
Please.
Okay.
That can't be the way that people act. I feel like anytime you see that in the movie, the guy who is usually getting cut out,
Yeah.
I guess it would be, is mad. But in this case, I'm gracious about it.
Okay, here's how it works in movies. Okay. There's this... It's basically Crazy Stupid Love, kind of, you know, like, she's dating Josh Groban, but she's kind of flirting with Ryan Gosling, and then she's like, you know, she's going to be dancing with Josh Groban, and she's not really having a good time, but then Gosling comes in, and he taps his shoulder, and it's just like, well, hey, you know, guess what? Everything's done for you. Relationship's over. That's sort of how I would describe it. Mm-hmm. What do you make of it?
Are you saying my relationship with Home Improvement is over?
I mean, we're getting there. Getting close.
Well, in this case, please cut in.
Hey, Gruntwork, may I have this dance? Things are askew. No Wilson. Mozart repeats the witch's spell. We didn't say it earlier, but it's like, I don't know, it's like a cliche witch thing. I didn't really write it down.
We didn't really even mention Mozart very much, but he's been around.
Mozart's getting a lot of play in this episode. Mozart may very well end up being the Season 8 MVP. Wilson's hat is in the middle of a pentagram with candles and the amulet that the witch was using to curse Tim earlier. Not dissimilar from the Ubi board game I saw on my walk this morning. That's basically it for that scene. Right?
Yeah, I think Mozart says something creepy and Tim bounces.
Mozart says,
You're gonna die tonight.
7 days. All right.
It made me have a lot of questions about Mozart.
Yeah.
How'd they pull off the bird stuff? Is this a real bird? Is it?
No, it's a woman. It's a woman's voice. There's a IMDb credit.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I was wondering about like in the show world, but sure.
Oh, you mean you weren't really wondering if the bird was talking?
I kind of figured they could pull this off Hollywood one way or
Did
another.
you think this was the real Mozart, like the pianist?
I wondered how he pecked all those keys with just one beak.
Do you ever hear the joke? What is it? It's like, I can't even remember. Forget it. Cut that out. I'll think about it later. Back home. You know, we kind of know at this point what's happening. But Tim comes back, tells the family what he saw. Tim says, I gotta call 911. Jill says, they're number 3 on speed dial. You know,
Oh my gosh.
It's a joke.
Tim, an idiot.
I know, he's an idiot. Tim's just like, yeah, I guess they are. I guess it's a joke, like, you know, they call them so much they have to be on speed dial. Did your family use speed dial in the 90s? We definitely didn't.
I don't think so. I don't remember using that. We had a rotary phone, a yellow rotary phone hanging in our kitchen, so that one definitely didn't do it, but
It's kind of charming.
It was charming. That's why I was still there. We didn't do it because it was practical.
Are you sure? Tim gives their address, which I think is the first time we've ever heard it.
And I didn't write it down.
508 Glenview Road. Wonder if it's real.
Not gonna look it up.
Me neither. Okay. You see the call goes to the cop. It's a fake cop. What are you
This is
laughing
when
at?
things really go off the rails, I feel like.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, it's Al and Wilson and like a bunch of like random dudes. And okay, you find out later, well, you don't ever really find out who they are, but you at least find out later that they're cops. But when like this call happens, okay, it's like Tim's calling, you see Wilson and Al, and you see the guy pretending to be a cop, but then there's like two other guys there, and I'm like, who are these people? Are these like people Tim has pranked in the past and they're trying to get back at him? It was not clear to me.
Boys from the precinct who want Tim Taylor's butt.
Are these actors within the world of the show?
Within the world of the show.
Yeah,
You mean,
like, did Wilson hire actors to do this, or who are these guys?
I thought they were cops.
Do you think they're real cops?
That's what it seemed like to me.
Okay, because
They got real badges. They can't be impersonating. I mean, at the end, there's like a bunch of sirens and everything.
Okay, but that seems like a real misuse of.
I agree.
Police
That's why it was very
resources.
concerning for
Well,
me.
I also thought impersonating an officer in the way that they are is a real problem.
Trouble. I mean, I feel like if it was like a fake thing, Tim would maybe catch up on that.
So Wilson is just friends with like a bunch of cops. Where you're thinking?
I don't have any other explanation for it, Adam.
Alright. Seems a little fishy. Tim leaves. Jill and Brad are gloating to each other. Mark is not a part of this. Right? It doesn't seem like it.
I have a feeling Mark's not a part of anything at this point.
An outcast in his own world.
I don't even think he's in that band anymore.
Oh man, where's Ronnie? Shy Ronnie. Alright.
Speak up.
Wilson's house. Fake cops. I like these cops. They're funny.
Roberts and something. McIntyre. Roberts and McIntyre.
Yeah, it's funny because it's just like very like,
Good cop, bad cop.
yeah, it's funny, and it's like but McIntyre, you just got your badge back, which I always love.
It's really they lean into it, so it is pretty
It's funny. And the guy that plays Roberts is very, very like recognizable.
Yeah.
His name is Richard Rule.
He rules.
Pronunciation again is tough. Best known for 405 credits. Good God.
That's why you recognize him.
I mean, I know
That's
I say this a
prolific.
lot, but that's got to be the most we've ever seen. Best known for Casino, Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, The Man from Earth, and Office Space. I mean, is the big one.
Yep.
He's the guy that does the jump to conclusions, Matt. He's funny. The other guy I recognized, his name is David Starzyk. He's McIntyre, and 123 credits to his name, so no slouch. But best known for Cam Girls, Lost, Meteor, CSI Miami. But I know him from Veronica Mars, where he plays Richard Casablancas. So,
What a name that is.
yeah, it's definitely not a reference to the movie. No, it is.
I can see Adam. I can see us doing this shtick. You know, good cop, bad cop. I can see you flying off the handle.
Yeah.
Me calming you down.
Yeah, easy, big fella, easy. You just got your badge back. Think about your kids.
Yeah. Think about your family. You got bills to pay, McIntyre.
It is very, very funny. I liked it a lot. But we don't get McIntyre quite yet, but he comes in, so what's the difference? Okay, he's showing the cop through a lot of jokes about Tim being a flying monkey, the Emerald City precinct, rather.
Yeah, because they're mocking his idea, like that she's a witch and
Yeah.
she's behind this.
Tim picks up Wilson's hat in the pentagram, and his fez hat is underneath it. The amulet's gone. The other cop comes in. We find out Wilson changed his will. Tim is the sole beneficiary. Wilson was, of course, rich. Do you think Wilson would be rich?
I mean, the thing that he gets that makes no sense is a uranium mine.
Yeah, in South America.
I mean, explain that. I mean, maybe some of the stuff that he has in his house has, that's hanging up on the walls might be worth something, but yeah, I don't know.
I guess you assume a guy that doesn't work and is not that old is kind of well off, but
He doesn't have to support Judith or anything because he kicked her to the curb.
Yeah, or Willow. He's definitely sending checks to Willow once a month, though. Who are we kidding? And she's like acting like she doesn't want them, but really she cashes them every month. That old song and dance.
I'm surprised that it wasn't Agatha's name in the will, That would have made more sense, but...
Yeah, but then Tim's not a suspect,
Yeah, but how do we... I mean, Agatha wants the money, I bet. How's she going to come back and get it? That's the real question. That is Bewitched 2, coming at the end of this season.
Bewitched with Will Ferrell and Nicole Kidman. The terrible movie no one wanted. Tim's axe is in the door. It has his name on it. He's about to get arrested. End of scene. Go ahead.
I like how they say, you're not a suspect yet. But,
yeah.
As you said, Tim is arrested. And later he's being questioned. There's a spotlight and interrogation. Is this at Wilson's house?
Yeah, which again is this wouldn't hold up in court. That's what I wrote in my notes. That's why I don't think these are real cops.
I'm just telling you, at the end, there are sirens, there are lights.
You can fake that, Jordan.
I guess.
Go to Spencer's Gifts. It's all there.
This seems like a line that they're crossing. Anyway.
Well, one of my beefs with the episode is the ending because it's just too fast.
It does wrap up pretty quickly. This cliffhanger should have been Tim in jail.
That would be awesome.
We're going to give him the electric chair.
That would make this my favorite episode of Home Improvement if Tim went to jail. All right, go ahead.
All right. I mean, that's all I have really for that scene. Tim outlines his theory of what he thinks is going on. So.
Well, Mozart is hurting Tim's case.
Yeah, that bird.
Yeah.
Now, is that bird mechanical or is there a person there?
All right. Do I need to explain quite a bit to you about how this worked? I think it's a real bird.
All right. Anyway, at the Taylors, getting towards the end here. Tim is heading back over with the cops. Al and Heidi are in the room, in the kitchen with everybody, waiting to see what goes down. So they have to scramble.
I didn't see Heidi.
Yeah, she's sitting on the counter.
She's getting involved too, huh? All right.
Yeah, everybody wants to see Tim in trouble here.
Where's Scott? Hey, Scott, you out hound dogging around on Halloween?
I bet he is.
Nathan J's got a little 2-for-1 drink special for you, Scott, you sicko.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, Brad and Jill... I was just trying to remember what happens next. Brad and Jill...
Spoiler alert, I have no idea what happened. Go ahead.
No, spoiler alert was you're talking about what happens next episode.
Oh, it is? We are really connecting today. It's almost like this is our first one, not our 180th.
That's because I'm sitting in a new location.
That's true.
Everything's thrown off.
You do seem distracted. So you were saying that I was spoiling. Okay, so let's sort of go back on that. You were saying spoiler alert because my Scott was at Nathan J's joke. You were saying that was what happened next episode.
That is a reference to the next episode and Scott's behavior.
It actually is. Truly.
Yes,
or no.
So I wasn't that crazy. You just weren't picking up what I was laying down.
So I'm basically clairvoyant.
Nope. I think you watched it.
I haven't watched it, no.
Okay.
Oh,
that's
cool.
funny because we were going to record 2 this week.
Yeah, but not today, right?
All right.
I mean, I already screwed up our end of show. Jordan, I have neck problems and allergies. Things are tough.
What happened to that Yubi game? Are you sure you didn't touch it?
No, it touched me. Okay.
So Brad and Jill are acting casual here, which is always kind of funny. They're whistling Dixie and whatever.
Yeah.
The cops come in with Tim. They're asking if Jill can corroborate. Yeah, Tim was there all night except for 45 minutes in the middle of the night. This is kind of a funny exchange. They talk about how Tim was reading Hot Rod magazine.
Okay. Was he reading it, though? Is that the implication?
He was looking at Hot Rod magazine. I thought first it was going to be a joke that he was just in the can for 45 minutes, and then they bring up the Hot Rod magazine, and then I just don't know if they're talking about him enjoying the Hot Rod or him enjoying maybe something else.
I think, I think we're supposed to think that he
Yeah, I did that. And then the cops.
For 45 minutes? Come on, Tim.
And then
Also,
the cops.
that's gross. It's at a party. There's a million people. Maybe that's his fetish. Who knows?
Well, the funny thing is the cops, like, once he mentions that he was looking at the Hot Red magazine, they just, like, agree.
They're like,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
we
That
jack off
checks
at
out.
parties all the time.
That checks out. But, yeah, I guess that's not enough for them because they're taking Tim down to the station until they can see more of what's going on.
Yeah.
They go over to the backyard because I think somebody sees something, right? Is somebody calling
A guy
from the other side?
comes in and is like, "You're not gonna believe this, Mother of God."
We see Agatha in Wilson's yard, but she's not Agatha. She's Mary from the crime lab, and she
Yeah.
doesn't look like a witch at all, and she doesn't know Tim at all.
Yeah.
So Tim's story is falling apart. Everybody thinks he's crazy.
Yeah.
Jill does not come to his defense. She says there is some resemblance, but she's not sure. They
Yeah.
find out that Wilson has been murdered, and for some reason they need the murderer or Jill or whoever to ID the body, and they roll it in the backyard.
This
Riddle
is not. I've been led to believe this is not protocol.
This is not in the handbook. You know what? McIntyre doesn't play by the rules.
That's true. Yeah.
That's what got him in the hot water in the
Bit
first
like
place.
Burt Macklin, you know, Macklin McIntyre. Any connection? Maybe.
I think so. They ID the body. They're bringing Wilson, and as they're... This is funny, too, because they just, they have the white blanket over him,
Yeah.
and they just show, like, his eyes, so they're not showing his face.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. And then Wilson jumps up, scares Tim. Everyone has a laugh except for Tim, who I think dies of a heart attack.
Yeah. And okay, this is my problem. We need a little bit of an explanation here. Instead, it's just like roll credits, and obviously we get the thing at the end. But like, come on, like, are these actors? Is it, like, I need a line where Wilson's like, "Yeah, I got some of my buddies down at the precinct to help me out," or like, "Yeah, is he actually dating Agatha / Mary or no?"
Yeah, we don't have an explanation. I
Yeah.
guess we're going to have to see if Agatha's there.
Bugs me. I don't know. I didn't like it. So yeah, I mean,
think,
that is.
to go with your actress thing, if these cops are actors, maybe Agatha's part of that whole thing.
Well, I could have used a little bit more out of there. Okay, final scene. This is not necessary, honestly. Like we said earlier, like Wilson's. It's like the side yard.
It undercuts what
Just
the whole
happened.
episode's about.
And it's also not even really clear what's happening. Mozart is on a power line wire.
Bird on a wire.
Bird on a wire, of course, classic Doc. And Tim is going to get him for Wilson. A body falls down hard on the ground. We are meant to think it's Tim. Wilson rushes over, and Tim pops out from behind the bushes. It's fake, and the Halloween King is resumed. Roll credits, fade to black. Did not like that. Like you said, it undercuts it, and it's just like, it's not even that good, It's not that fun.
Yeah. No, they should have just ended with Wilson, but...
Roll credits, fade to black. That metal to Mozart, I guess.
Is that the one you have to pick?
Double, Tim's in trouble, maybe, as well.
Nah, whatever. Adam, it's a spooky night out, but I think we should... take a little stroll down to Castle's Corner, see what the old house is up to.
I think really well said. Yeah, we should.
Haunted
do that.
house.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sure, Jordan. I'll start. I liked it. I'm a sucker for the Halloween eps. We'll find out how much I liked it in comparison to the other ones in just a few minutes.
Oh, I can't wait to find out.
I know you are on pins and needles. What did I like about this? Oh, I like the... It's a little bit like Crazy for You, where they're pranking Tim and it's sort of elaborate, and we're in on the joke, but Tim's not, and it's a little bit mysterious, and I do like that dynamic. I think the cops are quite a bit of fun. Both performances are good. There's some good jokes in this one. Jill's butt getting complimented by the
Palm reader.
fortune teller, palm reader. It's funny. Tim's costume is good. The costumes are all really good. There's some good laughs to be had. And I just like the central conflict. I'm a sucker for the Halloween episodes. It's not maybe as scary as some of them are, but they put a bit of money into this. The party looks good. I like the performance of the witch / lab examiner. Couldn't help but have some questions at the end as far as were they cops, were they actors, what's the relationship between Wilson and these people and Agatha. But I guess I'm not supposed to worry about that. So in the end, I had a good time watching a Halloween episode, and I thought it was pretty well done. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good too. It's not as creepy, because I think all along we kind of get, once we see Wilson and the cops, we get that this is not a real thing. I guess they could have made it creepier by not having that show up or whatever, and then it would have been more like Crazy for You, where we just kind of are creeped out by Rose. But they went a different route, so it's a little bit different there. I guess the torture chamber stuff...
Yeah, you're right. That's not very good.
It's okay. I think it's unique in what they do on on Tool Time, so it's a little bit different, so that's kind of nice, different than what they usually do, but yeah, I don't know. We saw that coming. Mark's alive, but only for a moment, so I guess that's keeping that one running a little bit. But yeah, it's overall a pretty good episode. Sure, there's logistical questions. Time is always an enigma on this show, and it continues to be here. But it's a Halloween episode, so I guess we can let that go. So
yeah. With
that, Adam, I think we have to rank all the Halloween episodes.
We have to.
Everyone's been clamoring for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is, we're going to do this with the Halloween ones and the Christmas ones, and, yeah, I mean, obviously, Jordan, pre-show, I was pretty juiced to do this. I was very prepared and ready to go. I put a lot of thought into this.
You definitely didn't forget.
Yeah.
For sure. You definitely didn't forget. So, I don't know exactly how you want to do this. Do you want to talk about what's your number one, or do you just want to go through...
Let's go 7-1.
7-1. Okay.
Do we go back and forth? Let's go back and forth.
Okay, I'm going to start with my number 7.
Okay, go ahead.
And then you can tell me where yours is listed.
Okay, where I have that episode. Yes.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
Yeah, we can figure this out. We've done this 182 times.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 on my list is Borland Ambition.
Ding, ding, ding.
And number one reason for that is because I don't even remember really what happens in the episode.
What's going on with this one? I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, so I looked it up, and it says Brad and Randy try to beat Mark in a costume contest. I do remember Mark being dressed up as Al.
Yeah.
And Mark wins that costume because Al's mom was the head judge. Other than that, I'm pretty sure this is the episode where Al buys a steak in Harry's Hardware, which is not Halloween related at all.
Yeah, so it's like half a Halloween episode. And for that, it's number 7.
That's right. Silly. Just silly. What's number 6 on your list?
Number 6 is A Night to Dismember.
Hey, 2 for 2.
Wow, okay. Yeah, this is last season's Halloween episode. It's not terrible. I mean, it's better than Borland Ambition in that I remember what happens. Like, it has a distinct Halloween theme.
The gap between 7 and 6 is large.
Significant gap, yeah. Mark is making a movie about the tailor, or he's making a movie for, I don't know if it's school or recreation or whatever, but it's his family's involved. You got Dr. Wilson's sign and stuff, and then there's sort of that. It's just a stupid idea for an episode because it's like, is Mark actually going to kill us? Is our son actually a murderer? Blah blah blah. Kind of contrived, kind of forced. It's not that scary, and Mark is the focal point, so that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, it also seems like Mark is going to kill them, and then when they call him on it, he's like, no. And that's kind of the end of it.
You guys don't trust me. It's like, yeah, because you're weird.
I don't know. You were insisting on using a real knife and stuff, man.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, at least now he's more normal. Recording his brother's sexual escapades and watching it to himself. He's really leveled off. Yeah.
All right. Well, number 5 for me. And you know what? I don't know. I feel like 1 through 5. Maybe there's a clear number 1, number 2 for me, but 3 through 5 are interchangeable.
Okay.
So 5 is Bewitched, what we just watched. We talked about that for the last hour or so I'm not going to rehash all of that. But it's a good episode.
Yeah.
Some lingering questions that we didn't get resolved, but pretty good.
I had Bewitched at number 3. So I guess I liked it more. In terms of why, probably some recency bias, but like, I just felt like in comparison to 4 and 5, which I did research, and there's just maybe more of a strong Halloween theme in this.
That's a good point.
This is Halloween from start to finish, whereas the other ones there's some other things going on. So I like the pure Halloween aspect of it. And the conflict is good, and it's fun, the costumes and so on and so forth. You just heard us talk about it, so I'm not going to go through it again. But that was my number 3.
It's funny, I looked at a couple of blogs that have this ranking, and they had Bewitched pretty low, and I didn't quite understand that after watching it, so...
I guess it's probably just the belief that the show got worse as time goes on, but
I guess so.
Yeah, they dumb. That's why we're the Home Improvement Kings.
That's right. All right, what's your number 4?
My number 5, actually.
Oh, your
is,
number 5, you're right.
The Haunting of Taylor House.
Really? I have that at number 2.
Okay. Go ahead and talk about why you had it at number 2.
Well, I mean, it's the OG Halloween episode.
Yeah.
So that's very important. I just remember thinking it very funny when you have, like, Jennifer Zdarsky, like, spurn Brad for this Danny boy, and then Danny gets punked in the basement. I think we all like to see when the kid who's, like, annoying and a jerk get his comeuppance, and he does. So that's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, just being kind of the first Halloween episode they tried, and they had a good scary setup in the basement, so that was good.
I liked it. You know, I guess I favor another party a little bit more, and we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I mean, Ryder Strong is a real shithead, and he takes his medicine, so I like that. Yeah, I mean, it's an early Home Improvement episode in that it's very, like, wholesome and kind of simple, and you know, like you said,
I think zero references to sex, which they've kind of thrown out the window now.
Good lord, yeah, this is basically like Dharma and Greg we had watching the show. My parents thought Dharma and Greg was so lewd. It's funny looking back. I don't like that show either, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of Nana Stein or whatever, the Tim Nana.
Yeah, that's not his strongest
not
outfit.
My favorite. But yeah, it's good. These are all good from 5 down. So.
All right. I guess my number 4 then is Let Them Eat Cake.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, in which there is another party, and this is Brad's party. Come get it.
Yep.
He has a Halloween party while his parents are at an award ceremony.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a lot of great things about this. So
hell yeah.
Jill is dressed up as a dinosaur. I think that's just a classic costume.
Yeah.
It's just a great costume for her to wear. Mm-hmm. It's not as pure Halloween, you know, as some of these other ones that we've talked about.
No, it's not.
But it's still pretty funny. And I just remember Brad is, like, really making out on the couch in this episode.
Him and that girl that looked like Monica Lewinsky are straight going at it. Like,
it's pretty wild.
It wouldn't surprise me if they started dating after the fact or something. Because, like, yeah, it's pretty serious. And he's, like, not that old. No, your point about this not being as much Halloween as some episodes is true, but I think the party aspect of this is just, like, it's probably my favorite party they've had on Home Improvement. Like, I don't know, I just like that sequence. It's just, like, it's very 90s. You got Jason there, you got people, like, drinking, like, the guy walks in talking about butts or, like, you know, can I get a butt from you, and that's funny. Tim and Jill coming home in the costumes is a funny kind of reveal.
How come everybody else wasn't in costumes at the party? Too cool?
Yeah, too cool. It's not a Halloween party, it's a makeout party.
The costumes would just get in the way.
I don't know that the stuff with the award ceremony is that good, but I guess for me, just the party stuff is so good that it sort of makes up for that. So.
Okay. What is your number 3?
I did my number 3. It's Bewitched. So
okay.
I'd be jumping down to 2. Do you want me to do that?
I got number 3 here still, so we should talk about that.
Yes.
I was a teenage Taylor.
That was my number 2.
Okay, so this is a great episode.
Yeah.
Lots of pranks and stuff, but Larry Hankin as Clifford Warren is just classic and very good performance.
Yeah.
This is the one where I think, you know, Clifford Warren basically is an escapee from a mental institution. He used to live at the Taylor's house and apparently murdered someone there, so he's coming back.
Yeah.
And I think Al maybe blows it here, so it doesn't quite work out, but they still prank the boys in the attic anyway. So it's good. There's lots of pranks aplenty, but Clifford Warren is really what made this number 3 for me.
Yeah, this one's actually scary, I feel like, in the end, when the boys are up in the attic. It's a good sequence, well directed, well shot, pretty spooky. Yeah, it's all about Larry Hankin, Clifford Warren. It's a fun idea. He's a scary guy, I mean, usually, except for Billy Madison, where he's just eating those donuts. But I like that guy. I like that performance. Yeah, it's pretty simple. He makes the episode, and then the final sequence where Tim turns the table, or Tim and Jill turn the table on the boys is very, very solid. So that brings us to our number one. No shocker here. Right?
Consensus.
Crazy for you, right?
Crazy for you. You want to talk about it?
We've talked a lot about this one. It's, for me, I knew when we were going to make this list that this was going to be the number one. This is the episode where Tim has a secret admirer named Rose, and it's just very, very scary, very tense. It's well directed too. We get a lot of close-ups of Tim's face at the party. It's disorienting. It feels almost like a Mask of the Red Death, Edgar Allan Poe thing. I really liked that the episode didn't let us in on the plan so early. Bewitched does, and I don't think that that's an issue necessarily. But this episode, you really don't know what's happening until the final reveal. You're not really sure. And it's just a really, really well executed sequence of Tim leaving the party, going upstairs, and discovering that I think it's Al dressed as Rose in the end. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Okay.
I was trying to remember that too.
That's the reveal, but it's very, very scary until you get there.
I don't have much to add, but it's like the creepiest one of them all, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, we're not let in. Tim is very scared.
Yeah.
As things kind of move on, and Rose is creepy.
I think it's less. I think they're trying for less jokes as well to kind of undercut the horror, which is
they commit.
Yeah. Whereas Bewitched, which I did have number 3, so I liked it, but it's very, very jokey, which is not a problem again, but it's just
different. It's just different for what you're looking for here.
Yep. So that's it. Yeah.
That's it. That's our list. So would love to hear, if people have a different favorite Halloween episode. We know we're right, but you can tell us if you think we're wrong. And with that, we're going to go to social media. Reach out to us at the Home Impodcast and let us know your favorite Halloween episode of Home Improvement. We're on YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. I think we just released a video about the time that Dave Chappelle was on Home Improvement and all the stuff that went there and went wrong with his show Buddies. That's a good one to watch, and we have a couple other videos there as well. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/homeinpodcast, where we will do, in June, we have another episode coming up. I don't know what yet, but we're going to be doing something new.
It's your pick, Jordan. So
we'll see what I come up with. So, Adam, what's going on Twitter?
I got Twitter back on my phone, so more action.
I'd love to hear about this poll that you didn't want to share earlier.
I got 2 polls. Let me start with a better one. Where do we stand on Trudy? I asked our listeners. 23 total votes. What do you think they said?
I don't even know the options.
Oh, sorry. Yay or nay?
I think they're going to say yay because that's who Al ends up with her.
56.5% said yay, 43.5% said nay. So, kind of split.
There you go.
I said, does anyone know where Mark went, either a fictitious answer or in real life, when he disappeared for 3 episodes of season 8? Sarah Short Stuff said, wow, I never noticed. Ask PR. Filthy Frank Costanza said he went on a rave bender with his goth friends. Got him. Twitty Britty said, I would also be very interested in where Jill's friends went. Karen, Marie, Patty. They were just gone. Fair point.
Yeah, they bounced. I feel like maybe they didn't mention. I feel like Karen moved away or something, but maybe they didn't even mention it.
Yeah, who cares?
You're more interested. If I recall, you're more interested in Patty.
I mean, if we're being real, you know who I'm the most interested in.
I won't even go there.
Nancy. Easy. All right, what else we got here? Okay, this is good. This was very satisfying for me, Jordan.
I'm a little afraid to hear what it is.
I asked Carmen, was there any thought behind naming your love interest for season 8 Trudy and your real life wife being named Tootie? He said, the writer's Easter egg.
Oh.
I bet I'm the first one to get that.
Wow.
And guess what I said?
Are you gonna add that to IMDb trivia?
I said, consider this egg cracked. No, it's too much work.
It's a lot of work.
They make it harder than it needs to be.
That is true.
Scrolling up. Okay, my poll, I just wanted to know what people wanted us to cover for the start of this episode. I gave them options, and here are the options. Disturbing movies. I'll just give you the results. 13.6% said scary bad meals we've had. So no one wanted to hear us talk about that.
That's a shock.
22.7% said disturbing movies. 22.7% said serial killers. 40.9% said best Halloween costumes. So we kind of did it at the end of the show. So they're probably satisfied, right?
Best Halloween costumes on the show?
You know, I meant for us personally, but people seem to interpret it as for the kids in the cast.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go anyway.
Yeah. Other than that, that's really it.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that you have Twitter on your phone again.
For now.
And I'm
it's
glad
sort of
to
like
hear
you
that
and it's like you and Netflix. It's on an as-needed basis.
I'll tell you, I do not have Twitter on my phone, and for
Wow.
good reason.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned this earlier, but I guess we should talk about next week's episode, huh?
Man, that is crazy, because I, in earnest, have not watched it. I had no idea what it's about, so...
All right. Well, it is called Not So Great Scott.
Not great, Bob. Yeah, okay, fine. Looking forward to it. Have we seen Scott before?
This is the first appearance of Scott. Not the first mention, of course, but...
Well, I look forward to that. Jordan, thank you for joining me. Listeners, thank you for listening. I hope you had a spooky good time for the final time. And I guess I should say take care.
Take care, everybody.